We love you. Chris Watts and the Mistress voice tapes. Um, more on the tapes. Nicole says that Chris has not had good communication with his wife for over 6 years. 6 years. And she kind of asked him, 6 years is a long time for not having communication, and you haven't been getting on that well, all them years, and so on. Uh, and Chris kind of says, yeah, well, I guess we do it for the kids, really. You know, we stay together for the kids. Well, you know, 6 years ago, they didn't have any kids. So I don't know what his excuse is there, you know. Anyway, that's what he told her. Anyway, they've had 2 children in 6 years. And he never told her that his wife is pregnant. Well, that's right. He's not going to tell you that his wife's pregnant because he's already told you he's not sleeping with his wife. He is sleeping in the basement, with the uncomfortable bed. So, yeah. So, if he tells you his wife's pregnant, that means, he had been sleeping with her. Well, he tells you he was getting divorced and sleeping in the basement. So, anyway, that goes on like that. And then the detective asked her, well, if we take, Chris's wife out of the picture for a minute, out of the picture, and, he's trying to uh, just get her to slip up, I guess. I don't know what he's trying to do, but anyway, he said if we take her out the picture and then she disappears, you won't even know she was ever pregnant, would you? And he said a few things like that. I was like, oh my God. Well, anyway, a voice uh, steps in, and I think that's her father because he was in the interview with her. I don't know if there was a lawyer or anything in the room, but he said, "That's enough, Nick. That's leading. Nick, stop. That's enough. That's a leading question." So whoever that was stops her, and Nicole says, "Well, if I knew like if I knew she was pregnant, I would have ended it. Oh yes, I would have ended this uh, love affair, relationship." And you know, I'm thinking I find that very hard that she didn't even know she was pregnant because all her investigating and all her like stalking on the internet, her Facebook and looking up all these searches. Well, I didn't even know how she would never know, because her Facebook was open and she could have listened to all her videos just like everybody else did. I'm saying she could have. I don't know whether she did or not. That's my opinion. But anyway, that's what she says. And she's sticking to that story, as we know. And then the lazy dog gets mentioned. And then did Chris mention the rookie game? And then it goes on to like, he got a babysitter, but his normal babysitter was out of town. So, he got a babysitter, but she's pretty young. And before he leaves the house, he has to get her all settled and, show her what to do. What time are you leaving? About 5:30, so she says, but she can't remember. She can't remember again. Okay, then. So, anyway, um, Chris gets the kids ready, settles them in, get to know the babysitter, tell her the routine, what time they go to bed, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and, well, he arrives at her house to pick her up. And he said, well, did he drive? What car did he drive then? How did he get there? And she goes, well, I don't know what he was driving. She said, I don't know. She says, because I never see his car. You can we have trouble with parking in my apartment building. Do you know what I mean? Well, yeah, I can understand that. You have permits that there's not much room for other cars, is there? No, he parks his car down the road, down the road a bit, off the road, a block away. I don't know, but off the road. So she don't even know what car he drove. Well, I find that very hard to believe because, apparently he can't drive his work truck all over the place, I guess. Only like to and from work. So I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm just guessing. Um, I'm guessing that's true because, well, another reason he might not drive his truck because he's got a GPS on it. So that GPS will tell you everywhere he's going. So maybe that's another reason why he would not drive his truck. So anyway, he was driving the Lexus. So anyway, apparently, Chris was looking up the lazy dog, but there was two lazy dogs. They went to one, and she decided she didn't like what was on the menu. So they go to another lazy dog that I guess her and her father go to a lot to eat. I don't know what the difference is between one lazy dog and the other. Don't they have the same menu? Well, I don't know. But anyway, maybe she didn't feel comfortable at that lazy dog. So they end up at the other one on 120th Street Avenue. Um, and so the detective, what time did you get there? Oh, I don't know. About 6:30, something like that. And then the detective says, well, you were in the second booth by the door, and about an hour and a half you were there. Oh yeah. He says, we know because we have it all on video. We know where you were sitting, and we know how long you were there. And she, he got that one in quick, didn't he? And then he wants to know, what they were talking about. What was the dinner talk? Um, she goes, oh, health. We were talking about health because we're trying to think of things to say. Well, they've been together a long time by this time, uh, and so you're just going to talk about health, are you, and healthy eating, and well, he's lost 13 pounds in a month. That's too much. That's way too much. I was worrying about that. That's way too much weight to be losing in a month. We must be doing something wrong because apparently she put him on this diet and this weight training program. She's done all that for him and sorted out his Lavelle Thrive products and organized it all for him. So she might have to think about changing a few things. His calorie intake is good. That's good. And she goes on about the health and the diet talks. Wow. She knows all about his health, don't she? You know, she's the trainer, like the wife or something. She don't know nothing, but she kind of knows it all. It's kind of like that. And then they talk a little bit more about the wife that when she was in North Carolina with her kids. Uh, and then they talk about the Cece that has allergies, you know, did you know she had allergies? Oh, yeah, something like, nuts or, she's trying to play it off, I guess, oh, tree nuts, the EpiPen, she mentions all that. So, uh, and then Chris talks about his mother, and they were talking about the nuts when his wife was very upset about the episode that happened when Shanann took the kids to his mother's house, and she had some nuts laying out, and they were too close to her daughter, um, and she may have had to use the EpiPen, and that's why she was so upset about it, and so he kind of talks to her about that. But anyway, she's kind of talking about, well, have you spoke to your mother yet? Have you spoke to your mother yet? And he goes, no, I haven't even talked to her. She's avoiding me. Now, Chris says his mother's avoiding him. Nobody's getting back to him. And then he went to the house, he said, and there was a note on the door. Son, Chris, if you get this note, we've gone to the beach. We're going to the beach. Well, that's funny because, if Chris is trying to text his mom or call his mother, hey, I want to come over and talk, you know, you think that the mother would at least text him or call him and say, hey, Chris, I won't be home today because me and I don't know if she was with the daughter and the granddaughter, but we've gone to the beach. So I'm not sure if the mother and the father who they went with. But you know what? They didn't ask Chris and his girls to come to the beach, did they, with him? He could have said, hey, Chris, bring the girls. Chris could have had a day out with his mother and father, couldn't he? With his girls only. I don't know what happened there. But apparently, he kind of went back home to Shannon's parents' home, I guess, and he tries to call his mother up again. And at the last day, he went over there, I guess, got to talk to her and stuff. And, well, this is what they said, apparently, and it must have been on that last day because I'm getting a bit confused because, when the mother was speaking, she said Shannon came over. She came in over by herself with the girls, right? Chris wasn't even there then. And said they had that episode with the nuts and the ice cream and the other granddaughter getting an ice cream, something like that. And of course, her kid's allergic to it. But this must have been another incident. So because Chris is saying he's there. He went over, and then Shannon says to his mother, you will never see the kids again. You will never see Chris again. You'll never see Chris again. And you'll never see the new baby again. Or never see the baby. And that was the last day he was there. He was trying to talk to his parents. And perhaps this is why Chris is so mad at his parents. Because they didn't even give him a chance to talk to each other. He wanted to hear about what was going on. I don't know what was going on there. Do you know what I mean? Now, this could have been another trigger. It's another stress. It's more stress. Now, he's got his wife, and now he's got his mother arguing again and not happy with each other. But you think they would have talked to him, seeing as they love him so much. They love their son. They might not like her very much, but they still love their son, supposedly, I guess. Anyway, so that don't make sense. Anyway, they talk more about the relationship between Nicole and Chris. How, you know, how is your relationship between you both? Oh, it's healthy. It's very healthy and honest. It's a very honest relationship. Now she's saying it's very honest because she's talking about past tense here. He's very respectable and he gives me my space. We have a good time, and like sex wise is everything is all good there. We love each other. I've he's told me he loves me very early on in the relationship, and I've told him a few times that I love him too. I love him as well. She says, but that was all new to me. It's very strange that uh, to say I love you very early on in the relationship. But she was saying I love you too. Who says I love you back when you don't really mean it? You, if somebody tells you you love them, you say, "Ah, that's nice." But you know what? I'm not there yet. I'm just not comfortable right now. We'll see how it goes. You kind of say something when you don't say, "Oh, I love you too," unless you just say, "I love you too." But that's not like real love, is it? It depends how you say it. That's my opinion. And then she thinks about, well, why do you tell me you love me, and then you go home to your wife? You're going home to your wife. She brings that one up. Oh, wow. He's always going home to his wife. You know that from the get-go. You knew he was married, you knew he had kids, and you knew he lived in the home. So, and then you want a relationship with him. So that's how I see that. And he also asking the detective about, did you know about uh, health issues? Did you know about Shanann had health issues? She goes, no, didn't know nothing about Shanann having health issues. No, the only person, it was Cece. She said Cece had a nut allergy. She goes, but I didn't know anybody else had any health issues. Like, yeah, she really didn't know. That's what she says anyway. And, the sex relations and all that and the other. And then they talk a little bit about that. And then they, and then she goes on to say, we spent some time together um, around her birthday. And her birthday is at the end of June, early July. She spent some time with Chris around her birthday. Yeah, okay then. And what about your mom and dad then? Did you ever introduce him to your mom and dad? Oh no. No. I wouldn't do that. That's way too early in my relationship to introduce him to my mother and dad. Anyway, I wouldn't tell them. That, you know, so she was keeping it a secret from her mom and dad, so she says. Because he's a married man, still living at home with his wife. Like, how's she going to explain that? Well, how do you explain all the other married guys you went out with? That's what I'm saying, just my opinion. Because she did say, why do she always end up with the married men? And she said she had a boyfriend earlier in the year, and I guess this was the last boyfriend. She never said, well, I never introduced them to my parents for 7 months. Probably because he was married too. I don't know about that. I don't know if that one was married or not. And she goes, if I was with him for about 4 or 5 months, you know, and he had not moved out, I would have finished with him. I would have ended this relationship. If he hadn't been out of that house and divorced, she says, I would have finished with him. Because, meaning she would have got the picture, he's never leaving his wife. You know, he's never leaving his wife. Well, anyway, that's my opinion. So she kind of had plans on staying in with him for long term then, because she's talking about 4 or 5 months and 6 months and stuff like that. And then she starts to talk about what the public is going to think about her. What's she going to do about that? Is she going to have to lay low? Now she's really thinking about what the public is going to think about her, because she knows it's all going to come out. And now she's starting to panic. Yep, she is starting to panic now, uh, because she's getting all worried. And then at this time, she is starting to break down. Oh, yeah, she's breaking down now. She's having a breaking moment, because, the detective's asking her too many questions. And then she starts crying. And the detective says, do you need some help? There is help out there um, for victims of this sort of crime. For victims that you're a victim. You're a victim. And thank you. And thank you for coming in. And then she says, she starts breaking down about why would he do this? Kind of like that. Why is he doing that? Why did he do that? Why did he have to? The babies, the little kids, they're so cute, they're so small. And she's crying and she's breaking down. I don't know. Why the babies? And she was pregnant. And she is pregnant too with a baby. Oh my God. And she's really starting to hate herself now. Do you know what I mean? She's starting to think of that. But the next breath, she pulls herself together. Yeah, she pulls herself together and starts talking. And she sort of sniffs a little bit, like that kind of thing. But then she goes back to her normal ways. But it sounded like her voice was shaking a little bit. Uh, but she pulls herself together very quick. No more tears after that. It's just a little breakdown. Nicole says, come on, let's get this done. Let's finish this. She's telling the detective to hurry up. Let's finish with this, because she's tired now. She can't think no more. She was asked if she's ever been in Shanann's room. And she goes, no, I've never been in that room. I've never been in her room. But I've only been upstairs. Here comes the upstairs now, you see. First of all, she says she hardly was in the house. She only stayed downstairs. She only stayed for a moment. It was just a brief moment. She really didn't want to be there. Next minute, she's in the basement, looking at Chris's new bed, and his workout equipment and how tidy his room up. And the next minute, now she's up the stairs, you see. Now she's up the stairs. But when she went upstairs, she only see the little girl's room. I'm thinking it's the playroom or something. And she says because she mentions the kids' books. They got lots of books. Well, why did she go upstairs for? That's what I like to know. She don't really say what she even went upstairs for. There's a toilet downstairs. There's obviously a toilet in the bathroom. I mean, maybe in the basement, but there's sure one upstairs, right? So why did she go upstairs and then go to the kids' room, their playroom? Chris must have took her up there, but she never said that. But she said she's denying ever been in their room, the master bedroom, or the toilet. Well, she's denying anything else. She only went to the kids' room. So, really? Yeah, now you're upstairs. Now you're upstairs. We probably could get you in the bedroom. That's probably where you were. You went into the bedroom. Yeah. We kind of know what's going on here. But she's not admitting to that. So she's all over that house. She is. But it's funny how she didn't notice pictures of Shanann until July the 14th. No, she just ain't telling the truth, is she? I don't know what she's got to lie about, but maybe she's panicking. She don't want to say too much, And then he asked her, do you know about the alarm system in the house? You know, they got an alarm system. You know about that? And she says no. And then she did mention that he has no TV in the basement. She thought that was kind of odd because she thought he should have a TV in the basement, because seeing as he lives in the basement, you'd think he'd have a TV. You know, like you have one in the bedrooms. You know, everybody does. There's one TV all around the house, but he doesn't have a TV in the basement. So she kind of notices that. So, anyway, uh, Chris did tell Nicole, and this is what he did tell her, so she knew about it. Chris told her that he was going to the site in the morning, and that he probably won't be in the office in the cafeteria, you know, for a cup of coffee, because he's going to the site. And she knew which site he was going to. Yeah, she knew that day that he was going to the site. Now, this is ringing alarm bells to me because of what she is about to say. For what she is about to say in one of her comments. Because, you know, so she knows, all right. So, this is where he asks her, what did Chris do on Sunday? Oh, Sunday, you know, she's saying she can't think. She goes, I don't know. I'm tired. Can I get back to you? Can I think? Can I think about it? I'll get back to you. I don't know what he did. And the detective tried to give her a little hint about he went somewhere. And she goes, oh, yeah, he went to a birthday party. Oh, yeah, that's right. He went to a birthday party. And they had a balloon fight. Oh, yeah, because, you know, Chris likes to play games like that. He plays with his children. Oh, yeah, yeah, now I'm... Oh, now she's remembering, you see. But before she was acting like she didn't even know. Can I get back to you? But he refreshed her memory very fast, let me tell you. Well, you know, what did you do? Where did you go? And she goes, see, first of all, she can't remember what she did on a Sunday. And all of a sudden, she said, oh, yeah, um, we went out with um, the stepmother or something, and, you know, somebody else. And we went to a museum or something like that. She's saying a museum. Well, now she's remembering what the hell she did that day. And then they went out to eat, but she never went out to eat. She said she can't, what did you do then? And then she proceeds to say she don't even know what she did. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired. And then she says, oh, you know, I went to the gym. I went to the gym. I'm just tired. I can't think right now. Oh, I can't remember what I did Sunday. The rest of the day. She can't remember what she did the rest of the day. He wants to know, what did you do to the rest of the day? See, he's trying to get her somewhere, you know, at the crime scene. He's trying to work his way in there. You know, that's what his job is. And then she says, um, you know, did you talk to him? And she says she didn't. She says she didn't speak to Chris until Monday. Well, this isn't making sense because, oh my God, I gotta go back on this. because now I'm thinking. Okay, she said Chris told her that he's going to the site on Monday, a Pacific site, you know, where all the bodies were found. Okay. But she also said she didn't talk to him on Sunday. And then in one breath, she's saying he must have told her on the Saturday in one of their talks. Well, he wasn't notified until, unless I got this wrong, was she not, was Chris not notified until that Sunday of doing an exchange? You know, he said to his friend, don't worry, I'll do that job. I'll go to that job. And his friend said, oh, thanks. But that deal wasn't done until Sunday, was it? So that part I'm getting a little confused on. But anyway, she's tired. She don't know what she's talking about. So she says. But anyway, I just thought that I'd bring that to your attention because that's a little bit confusing to me. And then he tries to get her to say what she was doing on Sunday. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh yeah, you know, she had her friend Jim come in. Jim, who's Jim? An old boyfriend or your boyfriend or something like that? And she goes, no, that is just a very good friend. And he comes to her house and she trusts him and he stays at her house when he comes to town. Oh, that's okay. Well, that's okay. You can have friends. You know, that's what she says. But anyway, so apparently this Jim was there on the Monday. And she's on about, did Chris talk to you on the Monday about his wife? And yeah, Chris texted her and said, my wife's not home. My wife's not home. But she wasn't answering right away, but she couldn't make out what he was saying. What do you mean your wife's not home? Well, she's probably gone to her friend's house, like you said. Well, she says she don't know nothing, yet she knows it all. You know, I don't know how she knows this. You know, she's getting herself all twisted here because she don't know, but she just said she's just putting it out there. And she can't understand why he's getting so worried. You know, that's what she tells the detective. So she has a few texts and calls, and Chris is trying to call her, and she's got, I guess it's later on in the day, you know, she's getting off work, and she's got company at her house, because we must end up back at the house about 3:45, and she's busy talking to her friends, you know, having a good old time, whatever they're talking about, eating, you know, cooking some dinner, and and in the end she has to go out on the deck, and I guess she calls him in the end, but she's texting him, but not really texting him right away. And then so that just goes on like that, and they talk about the same thing about his, you know, Nicole called the police, Nicole Atkinson, and called the police. Yeah, she's called the police, and the police are at his house. You know, this is all that he's texting and telling her. And he don't know why she's called the police. He don't understand why she's called the police. You know, and he's gone back to the house and everything like that. And he has told her that Shannon's phone is in the house, and Shannon's purse is still in the house. And she can't understand it because, you know, Shannon, she goes, Shannon would take her phone everywhere. She never goes anywhere without her phone. Well, boy, you know that by personal experience, or you're just making it up? That's what I say. Well, anyway, the police are trying to get her to get a hold of Jim, and let's speak to Jim. And she goes, no, don't involve him. Just let him stay out of this. Why you want to involve him for? And the detective says, well, we want to know where your whereabouts was Sunday. You know, seeing as you can't remember, we are going to find out, and we want to know where you were, and we're going to find out where you were. We're going to track it. And Jim might be your witness, he said. Do you know, that's a good witness to have. He can verify where you were Sunday. He can verify it. You know, stuff like that. That's what he's trying to say. You know. Anyway, she goes back to the phone call with Chris. And then, you know, they have that little talk, texting and calling and stuff like that. But she don't really want to be talking in front of her friend Jim. Oh, yeah. She don't want to talk about nothing like that. Nothing about his wife being missing and stuff like that in front of his friend Jim. I wonder why. Is it the reason, you know, she don't want to sound, he don't know she's messing with a married man? Or she just don't want him to know? I don't know about that. Well, you know, you could take that two different ways, can't you? And Chris is kind of telling her, you know, this is an emergency, you know, 911, you know, kind of thing. He tells her all about the cops outside the house, and all that and the other. She's missing. She's missing. You know, he's kind of saying she's missing, and she's only been gone half a day at this time. But you think she'd been gone a few days. And then they're saying, you know, well, maybe she's gone to her friend's house. Well, she hasn't gone to her friend's house because Nicole's here. Nicole Atkinson is here. She's the one that called the police. You know, he's kind of saying that, you know. And then she's talking about the house. That he's putting the house up for sale. And then really, the person that was going to sell the house. Oh, yeah. Well, she's a woman. I know that. How come she knows it's a woman? Oh, and she says that Chris said something about he's going to call on Monday about selling the house. That realtor. She know all about that, and she know all about him calling. That she says that he was going to call that Monday morning. Well, she don't remember talking to him Sunday. She don't remember talking to him about anything. But now she remembers him talking about he's going to on Monday to put the house up for sale. Yeah. And then Chris says, well, I think she'll be home later. She'll be home tonight. Well, he's in a panic, but then he says, don't worry. She'll be home tonight. But you know what? He knows her purse is there, her money, her phone, the car seats. The only thing missing is the bodies, you know. So why is he thinking she'll be home later? You know, he knows that she don't never go nowhere without her phone. Everybody else knows that. So they keep a talking, and then they had, and then Chris said, well, you know, we had an argument last night. You know, he tells Nicole that him and Shanann had an argument that night. So that's how far I've got on this one. So let's discuss this video. Thank you. So, guys, that's just a little bit of the tapes I've been listening to, but there's more. There's more. So, let's discuss this video. Thank you.